We're going to fill out your first set of notes in geometry. We're in the semester 1 notebook. We're going to turn to page 1. And we're going to start with our first standard is geometry, vocabulary, and notation. This is a typical cover page for all of our standards. We're going to start by filling in the scale for this very first standard. The level 1 beginning has the following expectations. I will know the 3 undefined terms. Those 3 undefined terms are point, line, and plane. The definition or description of the terms is really what you're going to see in the remainder of this video. However, we're going to go ahead and talk through the rest of the scale. So the second part of level 1 is that not only you will know what the terms are, but you can label the part using the correct notation. Level 2 starts with I can draw, and label a figure to represent each of the undefined terms. And again, there are 3 of them, point, line, and plane. So can you draw and label a point, a line, and a plane? So I know them and I can draw them. That's a level 2. Also in the level 2 is I can give a definition for and draw and label a diagram for the vocabulary words below. The vocabulary words are in the box in this just underneath here on the left hand side. So basically it's the same kind of idea. I know them, I can draw and label them, I can use the correct notation, I can draw and label them for the vocab words. Okay, the notation also, if I can just do the notation in one way, or if I can do it in all ways, is another part that differentiates between level 3 and 4. So the notation piece is I can name each one. I can name what I'm looking at of the vocabulary words using the notation. Can I just do it in one way? Or can I, for the level 4, do it in more than one? Also a part of that level 4 is I can read a description of a geometric figure that uses notation and correctly draw and label all the features. That seems like a lot, and we're going to just start today, especially in this video, with just the definition of the terms for this standard. So we're going to turn the page to page 3. There's nothing on page 2. So page 3, we're going to turn our notebook sideways and just focus on filling out the definition for our terms. That's all we're going to worry about today. The first term, point, has its description right here. It's an undefined term, so we just described it. It's a location in space that has no size. That one's already done. Second one is line. Line is also an undefined term. So it is an undefined term. So here's our description, because we can't give a definition. It's a figure that is perfectly straight has no thickness, and extends forever in two directions. Now there's a picture and notation or names on the side, but we're just filling out the definition. So the next one, a line segment. So this is a part of a line. So we're going to start with that. A part of a line that starts at one point and ends at another. Here's a picture of a line segment, but this is the written description of that line segment, the definition. The fourth one down is a ray. This is also a part of a line, and then we'll kind of move on from lines. A part of a line that also starts at one point, but this time it's going to extend forever in one direction. Okay, let's build upon that definition to get our angle. An angle is a union formed by two rays with a common endpoint. Down at the bottom, our last one on this page is our last undefined term. The plane is a figure that extends indefinitely in all directions along a flat surface and has no thickness. Okay, when you're ready, we'll turn the page here to page 4 and finish off the second half of our vocabulary terms. Our next one is collinear. The word co is a word you might be familiar with, or the prefix co is something you might be familiar with. So this is it's a description for a set of 3 or more points which are contained by a single line. Now when you put the word or the prefix non in front of that, it's basically not this, right? So this is going to seem very similar to what we just wrote down. It's just that it is not contained by a single line. Okay, so it's a description for a set of at least 3 points which are not contained by a single line. Right? And you're going to see those two, that kind of situation repeat down here again with coplanar and non-coplanar. But before we get to that, we have these two here in the middle, which are going to seem kind of strange, but we need to define them because we're going to say point Q is in between M and N, and we need you to know how to draw that and what that means exactly. So the word between describes a point that lies on the line connecting two other points in which it has one on each side of it, on either side. Okay, and the picture really does help with that one. So we're going to put a letter right here because this point is between M and N. Distance. This is another one that's not really going to make sense until we talk about the picture and we talk about the notation, but distance is going to be a measurement. I want you to measure if I ask for the distance. I want you to find a measurement from one point on a line to another. Right now it seems pretty self-explanatory, but again, it'll make a little bit more sense when we fill out the rest. So coplanar and non-coplanar. Coplanar is a set of 4 or more this time, and the reason is because we're going from a line to a plane, so it's not collinear anymore, it's coplanar, so we need at least 4 or more points which are contained by a single plane. And we're just going to repeat that with non-coplanar, and the word not is already there. So it's a description for a set of at least how many? 4 points, which are not, this time, contained by a single plane. And you've done it. You've completed the notes that you need to fill out for your first day of geometry.